All right. So thank you all for being here today for our first East Side rap meeting in person, I think since like mid-pandemic. Yeah. Really appreciate you making time to be here, whether on Zoom or in person. Why don't we go ahead, since we have a couple of new faces, we'll do actual introductions. And since some of us have never seen each other actually in person too. So I'm going to pass this around. And I will say, just make sure you see how I'm holding this pointed at my mouth. You need to do that. Otherwise, if you hold it down here, it's not going to pick you up. You got to hold it right there, like you're trying to eat the ice cream cone. And there's an on button, so make sure that that blue light is on when you're holding it. So I'm Landon Rank. I'm the associate director with SB Act.
I am Liz Adams. I'm the regional director with PATH.
I am Natalia Gavoni, a business owner in the Eastside District.
I'm Liz Stotts. I'm with the City of Santa Barbara Homelessness Programs.
I'm Andrew Crutch. I'm a code enforcement officer with the City of Santa Barbara.
Nate Beltran, Sergeant with Santa Barbara PD.
Barbara Anderson with the City Administrator's Office.
Al, are you hearing us okay? Just want to make
Jesse
sure.
Espinoza, Eastside Society.
Ginger Markovitz, resident.
Yes.
Cassie Roach, Safe Parking Program Director.
Hi.
My name is Mia. I am with New Beginnings with the SURF program.
John Sundiam. I am also with the New Beginnings City Surf program, and I'm a housing navigator.
Jose Arturo Gallegos, born here in Santa Barbara, and formerly homeless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I may make you the microphone gopher if that's okay when we get to that part of the meeting. And then let's go to Al.
I'm Al Ortiz, the regional program supervisor for City.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate that. All right. So obviously we're trying something new, doing the hybrid thing. We initially talked about just doing this on Zoom, and then we thought it might be nice to do in person, and we wanted to make it as accessible as possible. And of course, the cons of trying something like this are the technology. So we're just going to be figuring this out as we go. There may be some glitches along the way, but so far so good. The camera is here too, in case you're not clear where you're being filmed from. And if you want to talk to Owl directly, you got to look into the owl's eyes. All right, so I just wanted to start with our usual reminder. We are talking about obviously a lot of sensitive issues when it comes to homelessness. And so just a reminder, we usually like to use people first language. We're talking about human beings first and foremost who have experienced homelessness or who are experiencing homelessness. So we call it people first language. Some people prefer the term houseless because for the majority of people who are experiencing homelessness here in our county, they're actually from Santa Barbara County before they lost housing. So in their case, they're not homeless. They're just without a house at this point. But for the sake of ease, we're going to be using the homeless terminology. We will be talking about issues of mental health and substance use. And so we encourage you to just remember that not everyone has the same story. There's not one monolith experience of homelessness. It's very varied. And so just let's keep that in mind as we're talking about these different people that we might be encountering. And then I did want to encourage you all, we do have these sheets that explore some of the common misconceptions that we hear most in Santa Barbara County about homelessness. One of them I mentioned is that people are coming from out of county to be homeless here. So I encourage you to just check that out. We're happy to talk through more questions you might have just generally about homelessness as we go, but wanted to offer that as a little reference. Also, for those of you who haven't yet, we are actively trying to find a new meeting time for the Eastside Rep. We'd like to find a time that's more conducive to more community members. Obviously, the evening is helpful for the community members, but it's not great for all of our service providers and city staff. So we're trying to figure out a balance there, maybe do a lunch hour. If you have not yet completed this survey, we would love your input so that we can try and find a time for the Eastside Rep meeting. And someone's joined the Zoom. So we encourage you to take that if you haven't already, and I'll send it out as an email after this as well. For now, though, we're keeping with our current schedule, probably won't start anything until the new year in terms of a change. But the next two meetings will be on Friday the 1st, next Friday at 10 a.m., and then Friday the 15th at 10 a.m. And then let's see, we have somebody who joined from their iPhone. Did you want to introduce yourself real quickly? Hey there, can you hear us?
Yes, my name is Sebastian Aldana.
Hey, thanks for being here, Sebastian.
Sure.
All right. I think final announcement here before we get into it is just for any community member who's kind of new to these conversations. The main question that gets asked is what is being done about homelessness? Is anybody doing anything? And the answer is two parts. The first part is yes, there's a lot that's being done, and the second part is it's not enough. And so we did want to share just a couple of links where you can learn a little bit about what's going on in the city of Santa Barbara and some of the Eastside specific resources. We do have over here some of the business cards that have the Eastside and City of Santa Barbara wide homelessness response phone numbers and email addresses and websites you can utilize. But we do want to encourage you to use that because there's a lot of different ways to report different kinds of issues. And we don't want every single issue having to filter through 911 because that may not be the most efficient way to handle different issues. So we encourage you to check that out and talk to us if you're curious just to learn more about what all is going on in the city. So with that, I think we're going to take our usual time as we do in these Eastside Rep meetings to just hear from community members about concerns and questions you have related to homelessness in the Eastside neighborhood. Let me see if I can get this back onto just the Zoom. There we go. So yeah, so with that, we do have the microphone here for our in-person folks, but we'll go ahead and just open it up for questions or concerns from the community. And then after that, we'll hear from the service providers about what they're doing throughout the Eastside neighborhood. So questions and concerns. All right, so let's get you the microphone here, Jose. And make sure that's turned on.
This is going to be really super touchy. If anybody needs to stop me, feel free to do so. But
real quick, Jose, is your microphone on? I just want to make sure. Yes, you're good. It looks like it is. Yeah, you should be good.
Okay. All right. Very touchy subject, and hopefully Miss Liz Adams could elaborate what I'm about to say. And this is concerning PATH. And I know somebody here, a couple of weeks back, they brought up the issue about clients bringing in drugs, alcohol, that sort of thing. It's been a big issue. But this is another issue, what I just found out not too long ago, that apparently a staff employee, presumably a counselor, was caught doing meth in the parking lot, and they were fired because of that. Okay. So, and I know this had been an issue for many years back with some of the staff members, not all, going as far back as Casa Esperanza. So, my question is, would PATH corporate office would start imposing random drug testing for staff members to make sure they're not using drugs? So that's all I have to say for this evening.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah.
I don't have much of a response since my time there, that has not happened. I don't know if it has happened what you described, if that's happened previously or not, but since I have been there, I know for a fact that has not happened and nobody has been let go for that reason. I will bring that to path statewide to the organization as a whole as something that was brought up by a community member.
Other questions? Anything from the community? That includes you, Sebastian, too. No, I just wanted to make sure he knew that he can chime in from Zoom if he wants.
Okay, I have two questions. The first question is for the police department. Is the CATS team still working? And if so, is it still 7 days a week, 7 to 4? Or
Oh, sorry. I was ready for the answer too. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, so the cat team is working. We are 7 days a week. Unfortunately, we've had I wouldn't say there's been staffing issues ongoing, but right now we have one of our members is on the verge of maybe a promotion. So he's been in kind of an acting role as a supervisor away from the cat team and on the patrol side of things. So we lost him temporarily. We're hoping to get him back in a few weeks, but that means that on one side of the week, we only have one person working. And then on the other side of the week, we have two working because one of our other officers has been on a lengthy injury. She had like a tendon issue. She messed up her hand really bad. So, but we are 7 days a week. We don't have the same staffing that we had previously, the same coverage. So hopefully that will get resolved in a few weeks, but we'll see. Okay. I can repeat the question over the microphone when you. So the question is the time for the cat team still 7 to 4? Our current schedule is 6 in the morning to 4 p.m. And sometimes we work additional duties or different events where we stay later than that. Mm-hmm. Sure. So the question again, now this one, the question was, why doesn't the cat team work at night? It's kind of back to my answer for the first thing. We've kind of been struggling with some I wouldn't say staffing shortages, but staffing issues because of injuries and other reassignments and things like that. Our hope is that we would get 7 day coverage at night when we get more people onto the cat team. But currently, the cat team has a total of five members, and they typically have a partner. One side of the week is busier than the other, so we typically have three work together, and that's why they all work the same hours because we don't have, if we had another four, then we'd be able to have two during the day, two at night, and so on for the whole week, but we just don't have that right now. So hopefully as we get more officers trained up, it'll free up some spots and hopefully we'll be able to do that. But I wouldn't anticipate that being very soon, but hopefully in the next year or so.
And my second question is to you ladies, and I apologize, I don't remember your names. I'm sorry. I know it has to, you have to do something with parking, right? So I see over there, I can't remember the street, right next to the post office there in the east side, right? Thank you, whoever said that. So is that area and vicinity the new parking for people living in campers? Because a lot of them are there now, right? So, sorry. I know.
So bring this circle a little closer since there's fewer of us. Oh, no. You're all good.
So safe parking is designated parking lots, and we do keep the locations confidential for safety and privacy reasons, but they are actual off-street lots. So that just area has been impacted as folks are being pushed out of other areas. They've kind of found that as a new landing spot. And so we've been doing increased outreach to that area to try and bring people into the program so they're off street. It's done, yeah, throughout the work week, both early morning, we've done middle of the day and evenings. So we've been able to reach a number of those folks, and our efforts are continuing. We have seen some success in those outreach efforts. Sometimes it's a slow going process of building rapport or learning they need license, registration, insurance. So sometimes we're having to work with them to try and help get those documents so that they can utilize safe parking, because those are required due to the ordinance that allows the program to operate. No. We have between the very small daytime portion for oversized vehicles and our nighttime, countywide, we have 31 spaces with, 31 lots with 200 spaces. Yes, with the majority of those being South County. We only have one lot in North County currently. Correct.
I do have just one quick question for you.
Sure.
Very quick. Is the Methodist Church, are they still doing safe parking here? Oh, okay, all right, okay. Sorry.
Just the answer to that was that, or go ahead.
Yeah, we keep all the locations confidential for privacy and safety.
Just wanted to give a plug that if anybody knows of any parking lots that you could ask for more spaces, we are all in process of looking for spaces, especially for oversized vehicles and RV parking. So think about all of the parking lots and your friends of who might have spaces.
Thank you, Liz. I was actually going to say the same thing. We are in a constant search for additional safe parking spots. I think Cassie laid out some of the challenges that, despite all the proactive engagement that they do with people, it's not always as simple to get them into a safe parking spot, given the restrictions of the program requiring insurance, driver's license, a functioning vehicle. So New Beginnings does a really good job of working with people, trying to help them get all those things that they need in order to get them into a safe parking program. But there is, I believe, a wait list, correct? There is a wait list for RVs. So it is a significant problem in that area that you mentioned is one that we're aware of. And New Beginnings is really responsive to our requests to divert resources to areas that become hotspots. Cassie, how long is your wait list? Oh, I'm sorry. I should be doing that, huh? It gets distracting.
The length of time, we're not too sure at this point because it's just recently that we had to develop a waiting list. And one of the biggest constraints is the lack of daytime RV parking, because it's illegal for our folks to park on the street during the day. So we have a couple nighttime spaces, but we just lost a lot to development. So that's a big blow for us. Could be a couple weeks of a wait, but we're not too sure yet. It's a new development for us, so we're waiting to see how that kind of plays out. Right now, there's 4 or 5, I believe, and then it's gonna grow as we do more of that outreach. So.
Give some highlights of what you accomplished. I just saw your report today in 40 houses.
Yeah.
And will you also just explain this new big project? Because maybe not everyone knows what all's going on.
Of course. So it is the California Encampment Resolution Fund. So what we do is we have places around Santa Barbara City that are kind of hot spots for people who have gone to and parked and been living in their vehicles. And so we target those lots and we try to do outreach to who's living there. Kind of like Cassie said, build rapport, and then we work to house them. So we're a rapid rehousing program. So it's a little bit different than safe parking. And right now, yes. So right now we have Oh, sorry. We've housed in the Eastside 12 people so far, and that's since we started the program in technically June, but more so we were getting staffed in August. So it's July and August. And so it's been really, really great. We've had quite a bit of enrollments. You said over 80% of our enrollments have been from the East Side. And we've in total across Santa Barbara City enrolled 44 people into our program. And we try to enroll 10 people a month and house 5 people per month, which we are on track for right now.
Great. Other questions or concerns from the community? Yeah.
I know you said you help people with registration and stuff like that. I knew somebody a little while back who was living out of his van, and he had problems getting his car registered because it wouldn't pass smog. So, maybe I can get your number and reach out to you. Okay, great.
Yeah, I guess I would just add that that's kind of the sticking point of its very specific funding that's for our enrolled clients. So if folks are interested in working towards housing ultimately and having that safe place to park at night, then we can assist in getting the necessary documents and some vehicle repairs. But it does have to be specifically for enrolled clients.
Right. Anything else from the community? Yeah, let's get the microphone.
If somebody doesn't or rejects your help.
Repeat the question for the people online.
So the question is if what happens if someone rejects assistance or rejects our help? We keep trying. It's a voluntary program, so we aren't able to force people to enroll with us or stay in our lots. But we try to highlight the opportunity that it provides them in getting enrolled in coordinated entry and having access to vehicle repair funds, being able to work towards housing and having support of an agency behind them. And then also highlighting some of the consequences if they're not able to enroll and move forward with us in that manner, especially for folks in RVs, just laying out the risk of ticketing and all of those negative consequences that could come along, and just trying to help them make the most informed decision they can for themselves. Yeah, we don't have a cutoff of how many times we'll try. As many times as we see them, we will engage. So we leave flyers about the program. We can have outreach workers with set areas that they canvass. So we're constantly going back to the same areas and expanding as we get community member feedback about new hotspots. So we keep trying and trying until sometimes we get to wear people down and they'll finally join. Sometimes a vehicle repair will push them towards us. Sometimes a really bad storm, a really cold night will convince folks that, maybe having a safe place to be off street is a good idea.
And I'll add to your answer. This is where I step in sometimes if we do have people that are resistant, and I've seen them. I'm able to track how many times they visited somebody, and I've seen a few. It could be in the tens of visits. So at that point, that's where we're gonna strategize and come up with a little bit of a not carrot, but a little bit of a stick to try to see if there are any a little bit in terms of legal means in terms of okay, maybe a citation visitor or a warning with the size of the vehicle depends. It could be a warning, right, if it's an oversized vehicle, if it meets that criteria. So we do strategize as to how we can try to see if we can have a little bit more of a push to get people get enrolled. We also know that there's a few abandoned vehicles, and they do a really good job of letting me know that, hey, we visited this car multiple times, and there doesn't seem to be anybody responding, and we think those cars are abandoned. So we are able to um, have that information. And
it's okay. Thank you. When you hand it off to the police and help, so they take from them step aside, or do you?
Yes and no. We always try to collaborate in our work. Our ultimate goal is always to help people and not necessarily be punitive. So if there's not something illegal being done, we prefer the route of getting people to enroll in services. But if it's something like illegal dumping, sometimes code enforcement, Andrew's team will get involved in working with the people to address any illegal dumping that might be done. So, but yeah, ultimately, we always try to get people to go the signing up for services route.
So I think we'll transition to hearing from updates from the different outreach providers. But of course, maybe at the end of the meeting, just to make it go easier with the microphone at the end of the meeting, if there's additional questions, we should have time for that. So we'll start over here with Liz Adams and then work our way around the oval. But I also, as we're doing that, I want to just make a plug again to utilize these cards for the with all the different outreach numbers, because if you do see someone, if you see an encampment, if you see there's vehicles popping up, we need to know about that so that we can send the outreach providers. So the more information you can share with us, the more likely that the person will actually get assistance, and the problem may be able to be solved. So we encourage you to take these. And then I'll just share, SB Act is not an outreach provider, but I did want to share with the city of Santa Barbara, we do have a navigation center that just opened in June on Chapala Street. And so there's a lot of different services there that are open every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. All of these different service providers are there from time to time. So that's another way that you can just be of assistance in the community, is if you take some of these cards and if you see somebody, hand them out. Just it's a good way to help somebody know where they can go during the day. So with that, I'll pass it to Liz.
Thank you. First, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I definitely appreciated, and we always like to hear from our neighbors what's going on out there, and what we can do to better support you and support people who are experiencing homelessness on the east side. So thank you. Appreciate it. We have two folks who just became HMIS users, so they can start assisting with the outreach. We're still in process of hiring a full-time outreach replacement for Odin. It has been challenging. We're still going on that path. But in the meanwhile, we just got two additional people able to use HMIS as the database that homeless service providers use it's kind of like the first step in anybody accessing services, is that they have to get entered into this system. And so now they've been going out having conversations already. Now they can fully get people enrolled into the outreach and have those ongoing conversations to help more fully connect folks to services. So we're very excited about that, to have more consistent folks out there, instead of we've been everybody kind of tag teaming our outreach since our full-time outreach worker left. So it'll be nice to have consistency again as we wait to permanently fill that position. We're also yesterday and today we started some big cleanup projects. We had a neighborhood cleanup that happened yesterday. A big group, sorority and frat from UCSB came out, did neighborhood cleanup as well as some cleanup at the facility. And then we had a group of high school students come out and volunteer today, and we're doing some projects at the facility that we're really excited about, cleaning up our outdoor areas, making them a little bit nicer for folks to hang out. We're working with a volunteer as well as Home Depot to create a rooftop sitting and garden area for folks as well. So just ongoing, trying to make more calming and healing spaces for folks on site who are participating in our programs to utilize the space. And tomorrow we have our next neighbor door to door that we'll be doing. Our leadership team will be going out to the businesses on the east side, checking in with folks and giving out our flyers and the information cards for who to call if they see somebody experiencing homelessness, and checking in to see how homelessness is impacting their businesses, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll have more to share of what comes from those conversations as well, and new things that we can be implementing to support the neighborhood as well. If one of the things that we're trying to work on is that we see locations that leave out pallets and leave out milk crates and items like that that are very tempting for folks to go get those items and set them up to create encampments or living arrangements. So if you see that at any of the businesses, it's something that we've been asking, like, is there anywhere to keep these kinds of items locked or not out in the open so they're not as easily obtained? So if you see that and have any contacts at any of the businesses where you see that, assistance would be appreciated with that as we have those conversations. I think that's all for now.
Will you pass it to the other Liz? And then do you want to share anything from the city of Santa Barbara?
I just wanted to follow up with what Liz was saying about the pallets and the milk crates. That is something that we have been talking about with our team to try to get the business owners to try to store those in a better manner. So it's still a work in progress. Because it's been an issue for our code enforcement team that people are using those. So we are working on that.
And Andrew with code enforcement.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, from the code enforcement side, things have been going pretty well on the east side for us. As far as Cacique is concerned, we were able to do kind of an enhanced patrol there for a while that and you might have seen some new signs that have gone up in the area as well. It's really putting people on notice that setting up those encampments and storing property and creating that mess is something that we're really staying on top of. So we do have increased daily patrols, and then we also have reoccurring abandoned waste pickups for that area, which basically a couple days a week we're just automatically having our contractor come to that zone. Items that are left can immediately be impounded if left unattended and whatnot. Encampments, we do still handle a little bit more delicately because there is a posting requirement and whatnot. So, but we generally find if we're able to get on top of abandoned waste, that, and things like this, controlling the pallets and whatnot, that can help us avoid just the establishment of an encampment in the first place. But otherwise around town, it's been a lot of our usual locations, areas around the zoo and Sycamore Creek, Dwight Murphy Field. We are still continuing to work in those zones, but we are seeing really a lot of positive change with the parking programs and some of the things that kind of impact the areas in general. Aside from that, we've also been putting a lot of effort into the waterfront. I'm not sure if anyone here is a beach walker, but the area down by the Clark Estate and on the far east end there, we've been working really hard to kind of clear those encampments, and then also do since it does divide with the county right there, we're working with them as well to kind of clean that area up and make it not as frequented. So. A lot of good things in motion. We have been reworking some of our reoccurring litter pickups. So the Milpas corridor is back on for a full cleaning once a week. Basically the contractor will be canvassing each side, litter pickup. both sides of, like I said, Cacique will have an abandoned wayside and then a litter side, which Jesse, I know it's now going up to the footbridge, and that one actually is going to be twice a week. We'll have the contractor on that on top of Marburg and, a lot of the other efforts we're putting in. So lots of good things in motion, and we're kind of redesigning some of the reoccurring stuff with our contractor to really make sure we're hitting things frequently and then just sort of, extinguishing issues before they can really turn up the heat or anything like that. So
Thank you. Sergeant Beltran.
Yeah, thanks. Kind of as always, I kind of like piggyback on what Andrew says because we kind of focus on the same areas. Uh, if he sees something out of the norm, it's probably what we're seeing also. So I wish we had a lot more good to say. There's nothing, it's kind of status quo for us. Although I will just say again, like I said earlier, the last few weeks has been kind of a challenge for us because this is the time of year where we have a lot of mandatory training requirements that we have to stay up to speed on. So we're kind of filtering through people on that to where we're not taking the whole team off the street. We're doing like one at a time so that we at least have one cat officer out and about. And then I actually myself, I was just telling Andrew, I haven't been out on the street much myself the last couple of weeks because I've been tasked with something else on providing training and setting up a training for something that's coming up for the department. So otherwise, there hasn't been a whole lot of changes on our end, just kind of focusing on the same areas, beachfront and the Milpas Cacique area, and kind of relying heavily on my team to update me on any major issues or changes. And they really haven't said anything is out of the norm. So that's about it.
You, Barbara, anything from the city level?
And just real quickly, it's more internal than it is external, but I hope people will see the difference. But our new city administrator, Kelly McAdoo, came from a city where she took on a homelessness related initiatives from the city manager's office. She actually created a navigation center that connected to interim housing and was able to house, over 100 people in a very short period of time. So because of that experience, she is continuing to elevate homelessness in the city administrator's office. So the entire team, so Liz Stotts is transitioning from community development, the entire team will be out of the city administrator's office. A lot of the day-to-day decision making, policy making is all happening at that level. So just to kind of reaffirm what we've all felt that this does need that level of attention. That's why my position was committed to this work and why we've had additional support. And then Liz also now has a new support person. So this is the first time I think we've had a team of 2.5 related to homelessness in the city of Santa Barbara. And that we've had overwhelmingly, a level of resources that we've never had before with the SURF grant, as well as the Faro Center, and other contracted work that we have through CityNet. So like Landon said, we are doing a lot, but we absolutely need to be doing more.
Go to the New Beginnings team, and then we'll go to CityNet after that. That microphone real quick, Jesse.
One question for you, Andrew. I know that now the pallets and stuff like that, I've been seeing some random shopping cart issues, but not very many. I just want to throw this out there because the city of Lompoc is having a big issue with the shopping carts. I was up there this weekend, the far end of town, like where the old drive-in theater is. They've been storing all their shopping carts. There was about 300 in a lot over there that have been found. I just hope that doesn't become an issue here.
You take the mic. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, shopping carts are always a struggle, and there is no 100% sure way of, stopping that problem entirely, at least not, at this moment in time. But it is something where we kind of have a range of tools in our tool belt, of one, working directly with contractors that do actually pick those up. So we do have a lot of different contacts. We're able to just text locations. That's sometimes our quickest resolution. We are also able to impound them and go through a lengthier process of actually storing them ourselves. Any belongings that are inside of them, and then going through a whole process of notifying the store and whatnot. But really, in general, we find working with those contractors that are with the stores is just our quickest way to really see things move off the street and get some cleanliness. So the best thing is still that SB Connect app. That's a great tool for those. It's so easy to snap a quick photo of where that cart location is. And then that quick report can come to us, and that's something that we can just really handle in a timely fashion. So I really encourage the use of that. If you guys do see shopping carts, if you do see stuff full of someone's possessions or things like that, that's going to be a different thing for us to handle. But again, just bringing it to our attention, we can definitely jump on it. So.
The city is still holding items that are still storing items that are left in the streets.
Yeah, so in certain cases when personal property things are noticed, encampments like that, items of value, we are retaining those for people, and we will hold them for up to 90 days. So we do have a storage container. We're able to hold it, document what it is, and that goes for just important items, things that do appear valuable and whatnot. We'll make that effort.
So for safe parking, we now have 3 full-time case managers here in South County and 3 full-time outreach workers between safe parking and our SSVF veterans program. So we are going to be able to do a lot more outreach to make sure we're hitting those hotspots that are popping up. And then we have our full surf team, one for City of Santa Barbara, one for other South County areas, and one in the Mid-North County. And so we do have a lot more manpower to do targeted outreach for the surf dedicated clusters and then for the rest of City of Santa Barbara and South County. And as Mia said, we've had pretty great success with those surf encampments and have gotten about 80% of the enrollments have been in the Eastside area. And one family alone we housed, and that was a significant decrease, I guess, because of family of 6. So that was a big win for us and a big win for the Santa Barbara Junior High area. So we're very excited about that. They had a lot of barriers that made housing seem very far away, but we're very fortunate to have found an opportunity that worked for them. Oh.
For anybody to find housing for 6. Santa
Yeah,
Barbara.
honestly. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
Just want to quickly talk about we have had a lot of success, but I do want to point out that there are a lot of obstacles and barriers that we kind of come across all the time. We've been rapidly doing outreach almost every day. And like Cassie had mentioned earlier, it sometimes takes 3, 4, 5 times to build rapport with these people. And once you do build that rapport, now it moves on to intense case management and all of the I guess barriers themselves are facing that we have to address before we get to housing. And that on its own is the biggest issue as well. The cost of living is significantly high in Santa Barbara. Some landlords require 2, 3 times the amount or of your income for rent, and a lot of our folks just simply don't have that. And there's people that work full time that can afford that. So although we are having a lot of success, I would ask the community to kind of sympathize with us and please be patient. We're doing our best, and now that we're hiring more people and getting more people on board, we're hoping to kind of increase that and keep going. But yeah, just please be patient with us, and just know we're doing our best.
Appreciate that. And then let's go to Al from CityNet, if you're able to join in. You're kind of cutting in and out, Al.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. We good, Landon?
I think so. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Well, apologies for my voice. My girls' basketball team did a wonderful job. My little 11-year-old won their first championship this weekend. So so proud of them. But so that's why Coach Al's voice is like this. But first off, yeah, we've been providing our usual outreach Mondays in the Eastside area. Really, primarily we focus between 9 and 11. Sometimes we'll hit it a little bit earlier. I at least try to get once a month when we're there in the afternoons. And then we do have our Saturday nights and weekends teams that does put more of an emphasis in the Cacique area. But they are able to provide and help assistance and coverage on the East Side on Saturday as well. So we have been providing a good amount of coverage in the area. We haven't really got too many responses. One thing, like Andrew was talking about earlier, it's just, please get the pictures and go on to the link to get any requests. But we haven't got any requests lately too much from the east side as far as through the link. That does go to CityNet, and we can provide the outreach out there. And I've actually, between Natalia and Jess and a couple of the wonderful community members out there, I haven't really had too much request as far as identifying specific needs or urgent, almost urgent matters, but not necessary to contact PD for. Other than that, we do have two individuals through our city. One's at Eastside, but one city, but we have two city of our case managers that are actually beginning housed this week. But one of them is out of more the path, CK, around that area. So that's some bright news coming our way. Any questions?
That's great. Thanks, Al. Yeah, well, actually, we have a few minutes left. So are there any lingering questions just for anyone that's shared tonight? And make sure and use the mic just so they can hear you. Great. Can we pass that?
Andrew, this is for you. Okay. You said that once a week for the Milpas corridor, right? Both sides of the street are cleaned by a contractor that the city has subcontracted out to, or a contractor here in the city?
Some service. It's a local service. They were awarded the contract to do the Clean SB contract. So they would handle litter assignments under the code enforcement team.
So they're based here. Okay. And so when you said that cleaning both sides of the street, so what is that? I mean, I know what that means, but what does it mean in your world? Like power washing?
Why don't we pass one of these mics? You can have mine for this.
Yeah. I'm sorry if they missed a part of me there, but yeah, so that stretch they are working from Cacique up to East Cannon Perdido. So it's an 11 block stretch that they're working. We find that to be the most highly impacted area in terms of litter. What they'll be doing is they walk both sides of the street, and then within a safe range, we're not having them go into the actual street per se. They will clean into the gutters. So litter that is blowing along the street. Fortunately, we can't have them out in the midst of traffic. But yeah, so they are canvassing those. In general, the expected time frame for them is to spend approximately 15 to 20 minutes per block. So it's any noticeable litter, micro trash, kind of a range there. Was there another part to your question?
No,
Okay.
I'm just writing.
Yeah.
Okay, no, 15, 20 minutes per block.
Correct.
And once a week. And what day of the week is that?
Currently, they're doing it on Fridays.
And from what time to what time?
That can range based on their workload for the day. So as we give them encampments, other litter assignments, abandoned waste pickups. But like I said, we are kind of restructuring how we can approach things on Wednesdays and Fridays with some reoccurring things for Cacique and whatnot. So I imagine that they're working in. Generally, they go earlier in the morning though, as it gives them less traffic to deal with.
So like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning?
I do know sometimes they start at 5 a.m. So you could see them out there as early as 6 a.m., 7 a.m. But again, it'll kind of depend upon other factors in the workload.
And this has already been in place for how long?
We were previously cleaning the whole corridor, and then we kind of reassessed and went back through and got sort of a fresh start, just because we did need to make some changes in terms of the amount of blocks we were scheduling. We did know Milpas was always still a hotspot, so we're about 2 weeks in on this current schedule of it being every Friday, but it was happening previously. We only had maybe like a 2 week lapse, I think, where we didn't have it as a reoccurring thing. We were just doing as needed cleanups. So now this is just back to something where we're able to say, oh, okay, we want to see this happen at least once a week, if not done more as needed. We still have that capability as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
My next question, my next question. Oh, yeah, it's on. My next question is to you, Sergeant Beltran, getting back to the CAT team. They still ride the bikes, correct?
The question was, oh, you have a microphone. Sorry.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
used to the last time. Anyway, yes, they
Thank you for
do.
repeating everything.
They don't exclusively ride the bikes though. They do ride around in either the truck, sometimes in just a patrol car together. Um, Sometimes they'll ride all day. It just varies. On what area potentially they're going to go to or whatever, especially the downtown promenade. Sometimes if they're focusing in that area, it's just easier on a bike because obviously it's closed
Right.
off. So it depends.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other lingering questions?
I don't have a question.
Do you guys still only have one person that cleans up the tagging?
Yes, you are correct. So, and actually our longtime graffiti abatement lead retired, Nick Kabugos. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. So environmental services has taken on that role to coordinate. And then, we work with private property owners to be able to address their private properties as well. So, but still our responsiveness is we try to do it within 72 hours. So please continue to submit those SB Connect reports because we can't be eyes and ears everywhere. And so our team takes those reports and triages them and responds to them as immediately as we can. Yeah.
No question, but just wanted to give a plug if you have not yet seen any of it on SBX website. There are videos and stories that were created as part of a project that we're working on to share stories of people who have experienced homelessness in our community. And it was World Homeless Day on October 10th. And so kind of leading up to that, a group of us collaborated to record some stories of our neighbors who've experienced homelessness here. They're on the website. And then there was also a webinar with a panel of people who've experienced homelessness, kind of sharing about their experiences as well as what we can do better as a community to support all of our neighbors.
If there's nothing else, I just want to again say thank you all for showing up on an evening. Thank you to everybody who's flexed their work schedules to be here, and to our community members who are here in person. We really appreciate getting to see you in the flesh. It just helps all of us actually kind of know each other like in real life. So I really appreciate you being here. And I think that'll be the end of our meeting today. For those of you who want to stick around, we'll take a group photo. But otherwise you don't need to do anything with your chairs. They asked us to just leave them as we put them out. And thank you. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you on November 1st. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Al.